So we back. Apologize. Yesterday I didn't get a chance to get my videos or my stream out here. Let me put the time up on the screen. I'm TstreeT Controversy with FightView360.com. We got Big J on the line, and what we're going to be talking about today is, I got to be honest, I've talked about it before, and I'm going to say it again. I feel like Teofimo Lopez is playing a bit of a dangerous game, and we're going to get my Aussie homies' thoughts on the situation in regards to George Kambosos, the IBF mandatory for Teofimo Lopez. I'm TstreeT Controversy with FightView360.com. If you don't know, May the 29th, location is unknown. I'm going to think it's going to be in Texas, where they're opening up 100%. They can have full capacity crowds. Or Florida is where the fight's going to be taking place. Teofimo Lopez, George Kambosos on pay-per-view. That's a whole video segment right there. What is the price going to be? Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones was $50. I'm thinking they're going to go around that price point. How many people are going to buy it? Who knows? Teofimo Lopez is set to make $3.9+ million via purse bid, win by Triller, outbidding Top Rank and Matchroom Boxing. George Kambosos is set to make $2.1 million, a career high, super career high payday. George Kambosos is already one of the highest paid fighters of the last fiscal year, especially during COVID. So now that we got the details out of the way, I want to get your uncut thoughts on, what do you think about how Teofimo Lopez is handling this newfound fame and success? Big J, your thoughts?
Well, first of all, let's say this. Kudos to him for getting $6 million purse for this fight. I've seen a lot of videos and a lot of audio this week saying that this kid bet on himself and it paid off, and good fucking on him. So he bet on himself and he pulled it off. So, yes, good on him for that. He's made $3.9 million. Having said that, he's biting the hand that feeds him. In fact, he's not really doing that. He's biting it off and chewing it up and spitting it out. He's playing a very dangerous game by pissing off Bob Arum, which is not a really smart thing to do. Not only that, he seems that he's going on all these interviews and, as we say in the country, big-noting himself, where he thinks that he's just going to walk through George and it's going to be an easy defense. So you got to remember, this kid's only 23. He's only a baby. He's barely out of his mother's womb. At 23, this is a huge responsibility for such a young kid to have. So, I think he's getting it to his head a little bit, and if anything's going to trip him up, he's going to be his own worst enemy. So, at the moment, he's like, he doesn't seem to be really. He's more interested in getting all the publicity and all that for the fight, instead of focusing on, I need to beat George, I need to beat George, I need to beat George. Because I can tell you, all George is doing is training.
That is true.
He hasn't got any. He got no publicity because, unfortunately, over in this country, no one's acknowledged that the fight's even happening, which I'm infuriated about. But we'll probably just wait until the official announcement, then hopefully they'll jump on the bandwagon. But at the moment, not much is happening.
Yeah, this is a significant.
Focused on.
This is a significant
it's the
fight.
biggest fight in Australian history. For an Australian, it's the biggest opportunity forever. No one else has gone for an undisputed 4 belts. Yes, we've had undisputed champions before. Well, actually, no, we haven't. We've never had an Aussie born and bred undisputed champion. But this is bigger than Maloney and Oye last year. This is huge. This is 4 belts, lightweight. We've never had a lightweight champion before, not of this caliber. So I really hope that the Australian media gets behind it. It'd be an injustice if they don't. You can't keep on focusing on Tim Tszyu. He's not even coming close to a bloody title shot. So, this kid's actually getting a title shot.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy for 5 belts. WBC franchise. He will be fighting for that. Yeah,
WBA
Super IBF,
WBO, and the ring.
And the ring. And Australia loves the IBO title. So who knows? That might they might come in and put that thing on the line too.
We've dropped off on that.
They might come in and put that on the line. Who knows?
Yeah.
So
Doesn't
go ahead.
Doesn't his Larry Laura have that Doesn't
Yeah.
Larry Laura have the IBO title?
He's going to be fighting at 160 against Thomas Lamana on April the 24th in the lead-in to Andy Ruiz versus Chris Arreola on a pay-per-view. But I've already done videos on that. But to stop you for a minute, now, yes, Teofimo Lopez has been very vocal in the media. I don't agree with the way he's been handling things, especially if you look at how Mikey Garcia was shelved and possibly how other promoters could be looking at Teofimo Lopez like, I don't know, will he try to force a purse bid on us too? You know? But Bob Arum hasn't treated him well in the media as well. Bob Arum has been out of control when it comes to, and this is something that a lot of media may be afraid to say, but I notice some are really saying, like, Bob Arum has been on a bit of a rampage when it comes to Terrence Crawford and Teofimo Lopez in regards to, like, he's been casting the first stones. I understand the frustration, and the man damn near is 100. Huh?
Yeah. I have been noticing that he's been giving Crawford a bit of a hard time. I've noticed that. And now he's going after Teofimo. It's like, well, loyalty works both ways, fellas.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. You know, I understand his frustration, but it's like, whoa, bro. You know, so the double standard is like you can talk, but the fighters can't. But in the landscape of boxing, Teofimo Lopez, as it stands right now, still has 3 plus. I believe it's 3+ years, like 3.5 or something years left on his top ranked contract.
It's 3.5 I read the other day, something like that. 3.5.
And it's and you're hearing buyout. Oh, I'm gonna get a buyout. I'm going to, like, he doesn't know if he's gonna get a buyout or not. What if Triller is waiting to see? Let's see how this pay-per-view does numbers wise, and I don't think it's going to do good unless it's on Tyson versus Holyfield. If it's its own pay-per-view, I don't see it doing well. Like, who's going to buy it? Why?
That's the next point I wanted to bring up. That's the next point I wanted to bring up.
Well, then let's talk about it. I'm already leading into it.
Yeah, I mean, if they don't put this on the undercard to Tyson Holyfield, those two are crazy. Because Tyson Holyfield, how much pay-per-view buys is that going to generate? You know, you've got people, you know, people will go apeshit for that.
And it'll be and to get the global exposure, you know, because not only will they be will somewhere over in Australia pick it up, it'll be available in all territories. But to try to put this on its own pay-per-view, and Teofimo Lopez has went on the record with Sirius XM Radio, aka Barack, and said that, you know, they're hoping for 2 million pay-per-view buys. In this landscape, Wilder versus Fury 2 capped out at about 825 or so. Correct me if I'm wrong, but around there. I may be off by a little bit. But whoa,
825,000.
Now the last pay-per-view where 2 boxers, you know, actual boxers fighting for something significant that did over 1 million pay-per-view buys was Canelo versus Golovkin 2, and it was like 1.15 or something like that. So for Teofimo, because he thinks that, I mean, you know, the Triller broadcast for Tyson versus Jones, I enjoyed it. The music,
I thought it was good.
You know, it was high quality, and they get it in regards to who they were appealing to. They were appealing to the generation that boxing wants, but somehow can't seem to get. They're appealing to that 18 and younger, let's say 12-year-olds, the teenagers, all the way up until about the 40-year-old men. That's the generation that they want. And Triller, with the music and, you know, even the graphics and everything, you can tell that's what they were going for. But once again,
that 18 to 45-year-old spread is what they're after.
Yeah, but once again, the 2 million pay-per-view buys now. We have to give George Kambosos some credit because he's also getting a career high payday at $2.1 million. I'm pulling him up on the screen here at 19-0 with 10 KOs, 27 years old. George Ferocious Kambosos Jr. Here, let's pull up his Twitter so you can follow him on Twitter. And that is true. You're seeing him doing nothing but training. And for a guy like Teofimo, who has openly talked about his issues with 135 pounds in the past, one thing for sure is that has to be brought up. He hasn't had issues making weight in the past, but he's been eating real good lately. So let's hope that he don't lose no belts. In this case, possibly all of them on the scale. So going back to what Jay was saying, like, yo, I hope this brother's focused. So Lee Selby. Now, did you see the Mickey Bay fight? I don't remember. Did George clearly win that?
George knocked, if I remember correctly, George knocked Mickey Bailey on his ass in the 10th
In the
round and
10th.
picked up a UD decision. Yeah. I think it was the 10th round. I mean, box record. Let me bring it up.
Yeah, I'm looking.
I'm
I
pretty
got
sure
I got on the screen. It's yeah, it was the 10th round.
He did knock him down. Yeah, I think it was a left hook. He nailed him, and then to Mickey's credit, he got up and finished the fight. But his fight against Mickey Bay was more impressive than his fight against Lee Selby. That's in my opinion.
Okay.
That's just my opinion.
I did cover the Lee Selby fight. I know that he won, but it just wasn't impressive.
It was a clinical, intelligent win, but it wasn't the knockout statement that he needed.
Yeah.
And also, what was that bullshit about the 8th round being cut a minute short? Why is no one talking about that?
Yeah, I remember that.
But I think because George won the fight, it was of no significance. If Lee won the fight, there'd be a fucking uproar. But anyway, that's hypotheticals. Anyway, but back to our point. George is just. I mean, George has got a massive advantage over this fight because A, no one thinks he's going to win. B, he's going to be doing nothing but train, so he's got no distractions. Yeah. So, and C, Teofimo is going to think he's going to run a train through him, which is bullshit. I mean, Teofimo is going to be a heavy favourite, but the best Teofimo needs to show up on the day, not just this is just a mandatory defence for $3.9 million. Teofimo, the same Teofimo that beat I've forgotten his name.
Lomachenko?
Did he beat Lomachenko? Thank you. Needs to be the same Lopez that turns up against George because George ain't taking this lightly. He ain't gonna fuck around. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity. So, all George talks about on Twitter, I'm ready for war. I'm ready for war. That's all he says in his tweets. I'm ready for war. So.
By the way, I'm wondering. You know what? What if they pull something massive and put this fight in Australia? Nobody talked about that. This is Triller. Maybe what if they put this over there? Is that possible? Could this fight happen over there? What's the update on, briefly, like the restrictions going on?
Depending on what state you're in, at the moment, the country is doing very well. The AFL is allowing crowds of up to 50%. I think they're letting 33,000 into Marvel Stadium, which is where George wants to fight personally. When I spoke to him, remember that interview before Lee Selby? He said he wanted to fight at Marvel for some reason, even though he's a Sydney boy.
And we're going to get George on the channel again, by the way, very soon. Go ahead. I'm listening, Jay.
Oh, yeah. They're allowing 50% capacity, so 33,000 fans. I can't remember who's playing. Richmond versus Carlton, I think. 33,000 fans are allowed there. I'm going to the Storm Rabbitohs game on Thursday. I'm pretty sure the NRL's allowing 50% capacity. So New South Wales, I think it's 50-60%. It's not full capacity crowds, but it's 50 and above.
Okay, so basically the fight can happen, even though it's a lot of things logistically that we really can't, get into because of time constraints. But that's just something to think about. What if Triller just says, well, you know what? We're taking a fight over to Australia. Because if they're going to try to put this on pay-per-view here in the States, well, for one, it would have to be in the daytime in Australia. And Triller, they would have
on Sunday afternoon.
And Triller would have to, they do musical acts. I mean, it's a long shot, but I just thought, I'd throw that.
Hang on, let me pull you up there. What day is May 29th? What day is that?
That would be a Saturday.
So, all right, they'd have to do, if they're going to do it in Australia, they have to do it on Sunday. And to get a stadium during the football season, as I said, fucking no chance.
Yeah, all right. Well, then, we had to throw that out there, though.
There's no way. Yeah, there's no way the NRL or the AFL are going to give up their stadiums that are already booked for a boxing match that might not sell. They're not going to risk that. That's out. They could stick it in an arena for sure. But as I said, Timzu versus Hogan's not at the football stadium. They're local boys. So, yeah, probably not. Very unlikely. Very unlikely.
Yeah. All right. Well,
I'm sorry. I'm crapping on. Next point.
Yeah. Well, what I'm going to do is just briefly break down the 135-pound lightweight division and tell you what's been going on as it stands right now. Saturday, March the 6th, 2021, 6:13 a.m. So, Teofimo Lopez versus George Kambosos. We've just went into detail about that. Devin Haney, the WBC champion. The WBC situation is very confusing. But Devin Haney, WBC champion, is close to announcing that he's going to be fighting Jorge Linares. According to Mike Coppinger and The Athletic, that fight is done. Devin Haney versus Linares May the 1st or May the 22nd. Tank Davis, 135-pound world champion, underling belt. The WBA situation is very confusing as well. He is going to be moving up to 140 now to be a 3-division champion, depending on how you rank the WBA regular titles, and to face Mario Barrios on pay-per-view. George Kambosos currently ranked number 1 by the IBF, the mandatory, and number 1 by the WBO. Expect for Lomachenko when he returns after surgery. He's recovering now to face Masayoshi Nakatani, and expect for that to be a WBO eliminator to be the next WBO mandatory for Teofimo Lopez. But Teofimo Lopez, if he wins against Kambosos, is talking about moving up to 140 to fight the winner of 2 top-ranked fighters, Josh Taylor and Jose Ramirez, and expect for Top Rank to give him a hard-ass time about that. Now, if Timo were to win...
Can I cut in here?
Yeah.
Can I cut in here for a sec?
Yeah.
Rematch clause for Lopez Kambosos, yes, no?
Right now, it's looking like... I'm thinking that there would be. You know, that's a good question. We're going to get some information on that. Because if Lopez was so bitter...
Loses,
but if Lopez was so bitter about the Loma situation, you would think that Teofimo would make sure he has rematch clauses just in case. I would think that there would be.
And if that happens, if George wins, there's no shadow of doubt that rematch will happen in Australia.
Yes.
Simple as that.
I think so, yes. Okay.
Yeah, because George will, overnight George will be, the biggest boxing sensation ever.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone will just jump on the bandwagon. Guaranteed.
As it stands right now, Ryan Garcia and Javier Fortuna will likely be fighting to be the mandatory for Devin Haney, but not Teofimo Lopez. So if Teofimo were to beat George Kambosos, or if George Kambosos were to win and there were no rematch clause, the winner of Lopez Kambosos can move to 140 and fight for an astronomical 10 titles. That would be the WBC, WBA, IBF, WBO, and ring in 135 and 140. That's something that could never possibly be touched ever again in an accolade like that.
Yeah,
So,
I don't see George moving to 140. Even if he wins, I wouldn't see him moving to 140.
yeah, but for a guy like Teofimo, if he was able to accomplish this, be crazy.
Oh that would be just fantastic achievement.
So
But
closing.
he would have to defend those belts. It'd be like Conor McGregor. Yeah, he won 2 belts, but he never defended either of them. So big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, to solidify an achievement like that, you've got to defend the belts. Winning them's not enough. So, anyway, sorry.
No. Go ahead. Closing thoughts.
Closing thoughts. Well, I'm looking forward to it. I really hope that once they make an official announcement, the Australian media jumps all over this, because this is going to be, it's the biggest fight for an Australian ever. I'm glad that he got a huge payday. It's not the biggest payday an Australian fighter's ever had. That probably went to, I dare say, Mundine when he fought Horn, or when he fought Danny Green the first time. God knows how much those guys got paid, but, George deserves this. He's earned it. Hats off to Teofimo for getting the huge fight and all that, but he needs to start training, because the fight's only, less than 3 months away.
Yeah.
So 10-week training camp? So
yeah, but
I'll be head down.
Yeah, but they already been training. I know he has.
I don't think George has stopped training since Selby. So he's just going to be,
Well, he's also got that big payday too, so, but right now it seems as though, we don't know, but I think that George is still hungry and he understands, like the significance of this, because remember, Lopez was in a similar situation where nobody thought he was going to beat Lomachenko.
No one thought he was an underdog for Comey, wasn't he?
Yeah, and if they thought he was going to win, they thought it was going to be by knockout, but not outboxing him. So George has that right there going for him. But we're going to be trying to get George on the phone soon, but definitely before the fight, and really get his uncut thoughts on, like what he thinks and what his plans are if he wins. That's, legitimate after all. He's also the headliner of a Triller pay-per-view.
Exactly.
He's also making $2.1 million. You think other fighters ain't looking at him like, yo, what the fuck?
Yeah, well, everyone will probably be wanting jumping on this Triller bandwagon, but as they say, that if it's a very risky for Triller, because if this doesn't work and they get bugger all buys, they'll never do it again.
That's true, but I'm guessing that from a business standpoint, they had the money laying around and they said, let's go for it. But are they casual enough to believe that this card would... We don't know. The casuals don't know who really Teofimo is. Yes, from ESPN, but to ask for them... Or George, but to ask for people that pay for that? I mean, let's see what they do. It may not be pay-per-view yet.
I hope, as a business sense, they would be crazy not to jump on the Tyson Holyfield undercard. I think I read somewhere saying that it's not going to happen.
That's what it's looking like.
Crazy.
Yeah.
You guys are crazy.
Teofimo's manager is on the record doing an interview and saying, like, they won't be on no undercard. I mean, that's ballsy from him. See, Teofimo and his manager, they don't count because they got their money. Their money's guaranteed. You dig? So of course they're going to say what they.
I dig that. Yeah, but $4 million a 23-year-old is not enough to last for a lifetime. You got to think about that because
Top Rank gets 800,000 of that, from my understanding too. Or I think Teofimo will be. I don't know if Teofimo will be left with 3.9 after Top Rank takes their split.
Chance.
I think that Top Rank takes 8. I think the Top Rank takes 800,000 of the 3.9.
Well, yeah, okay, he's down to 3 and he's got to pay his team, so he's double out of that.
Then taxes.
He's got to be careful of. This could be, and he needs to be aware of this, short-term gain for long-term pain.
Yeah.
So this might work in the short term, but, what's going to happen after this fight?
When you got to go back to Top Rank.
Exactly, and he's angered a lot of people at Top Rank. So... where George is in the best spot. He's just kept his mouth shut. He's just thinking. Lou DiBella's probably doing cartwheels over this.
Yeah.
So, and they're just along for the ride. So they got very little risk, which is great for them. But Teofimo could be digging himself. I hope he's not, but he could be digging himself a hole that he might not be able to get out of.
Yeah, that's my concern. I don't want to see him on the shelf, or I don't want to see him lose any of his titles on some bullshit. It's a concerning situation for a boxing fan and boxing media, because we're seeing it, and I'm not the only one saying these things. Even though we're seeing that, okay, Bob Burnham is clearly wrong. He's your promoter, and it's fucked up what he's doing. But bro, you still got to go back there. You still got to go back to that house. You got to live in that house.
Exactly. You never ever badmouth an employer.
Yeah,
you never ever badmouth anybody. You never ever badmouth anyone. It'll always come back and bite you in the ass.
Yeah.
You can be unhappy with what they're doing, but you don't bite the hand that feeds you. So.
Well, we're gonna see. He's if he gets that buyout, but then if he gets the buyout, Triller will be his promoter. They have no fighters, and then they're gonna have to work with other promoters to get fighters for him, and they're not gonna make it easy.
Exactly, and as I said, what if this doesn't pull off and no one buys this? No one's like,
yeah. Ooh. Maybe they'll put it on YouTube. Who knows? Maybe they'll find a way to monetize it another way. Put it on free TV or some shit.
But, I just wish him all the best, and good on. What are they called? Triller. Yeah.
Take the H out. Yeah, it's Triller.
Yeah, I hope it works out for everyone. But got to be cautious, but I hope it all works out for everyone. That's my closing thoughts. I want to see a big friggin' event. Whatever they do, I hope they just make a huge impact. Mm-hmm. So.
All right. Well, this is TstreeT Controversy with FightView360.com. Take your time out, like the video, and pause for a little minute right there. Also on the screen is Old Mate Big J's handle at Old Mate B right there. You can follow him on Twitter. And also, check out our website, FightView360.com. The link is right down below in the description box, where we're making a lot of moves. Things are really moving forward. We got articles here, interview recently from Mixer Rafa talking about his Mundine fight. We have our rankings in accordance with the WBC, WBA, IBF, and WBO and Ring magazines, updated monthly and weekly depending on if there's a champion change. So you can find your mandatories here, your champions, even when it comes to the WBA, the Super, the World, the Gold, the Interim, for every division. So please subscribe. Also, you can sign up for the website to get the email updates as well. So I'm TstreeT Controversy with FightView360.com.